Good evening, COINMUNITY, and welcome back to the weekly coins.ph live stream. I'm your host, JC Cadiz, or Jaffa, Community Manager for coins.ph. And for tonight's discussion, I am super excited because we have, a very, educational topic for tonight. And I think this topic will be relevant for a lot of Filipinos in the coming weeks to months to years. We're in the middle of a bull market, and right now Bitcoin is at around $102,000. And I think it's going to be important for Filipinos to eventually have an application on their phone which really enables seamless crypto to fiat transactions. For tonight's discussion, our topic is bridging finance, why a seamless crypto and fiat app matters for Filipinos. Don't forget that every stream we take community questions from our Facebook Live and X. And if your question is chosen, you will be rewarded with Philippine Peso Rewards 3-tier coins PH wallet. So do send in your questions for Prof Talk for the community question segment of the show. Now, without further ado, I would like to bring up on stage our guest for tonight. And maybe for our first time viewers, it might be your first time seeing him on the Coins PH stream. So I'd like to bring up Prof Toff up to our stage. Prof, how are you doing this fine Tuesday evening? And I guess, maybe introduce yourself as well for our first time community viewers on the stream tonight.
Hello, good evening. Thank you, Jaffa, for that wonderful introduction for everyone in the COINMUNITY community. So right now, my name is Prof Toff. I'm a content creator. I also am a KOL here in the Philippines when it comes to Web3. Aside from that, I do a lot of gaming. And definitely, you probably have been seeing me go around, not just in the Philippines, but in the country, spreading educational awareness about crypto, not just about what the industry is about, but definitely the basics and more into what Web3 is all about. And back to you,
Awesome.
Jaffa.
Prof, thank you so much. I think on this stream, we're really all about, educational initiatives. And I think because of a bull market, there are so many new eyes coming into crypto. And I think it's really important for us to educate our users, our fellow Filipinos on, how to navigate the crypto markets very safely. Because, as the time goes on in the market, the learning curve doesn't get any less steep. No? And I think us, we have the platform to really teach our community members how they can get more involved with crypto and how to learn more about the space, in a with a community with figures who are willing to teach them. So, without further ado, I guess we can kick off our AMA with our first question for Prof. So, Prof, I guess we're talking about bridging finance. No, I guess for our everyday Filipino, I'd like to ask you. So, what makes it important for Filipinos, to have an app that combines both cryptocurrency and fiat capable transactions?
Well, to summarize these, the first thing is accessibility. If this is the new wave of digital finance, crypto in general, what I mean. This is something that should be accessible to the common Filipino, whether you are just doing your job as an employee or you are a jeepney driver, a tricycle driver. Accessibility to these simple financial solutions is something that you should also be able to access. It's important because these people help run the economy. From the simple transactions we paid, our for example, our transportation expenses, maybe the bus, the jeepneys, or whatever. I see it in other countries like Singapore that with just the tap of a card, if there's an access similar to that, maybe here in the Philippines, you would see the ease of how we make transactions very much seamless. Whether you have cash or not, it makes things very much faster, especially right now here in Manila at the bustling traffic. It's very important to have things fast, seamless, because everybody is rushing to go to work, to finish what they're doing. Some are even doing things that they need to prepare for before arriving at work. So these are things that really help the normal Filipinos, definitely, or us Filipinos here, when we have a seamless crypto and fiat, meaning the peso that you hold, whether it's digital, it's crypto, and the accessible means to actually use it on a day-to-day basis, buying what you need to, selling what you need to, receiving money in both forms, it helps you actually become a business-minded person as well. Not not business, not for everyone, but Filipinos are business-minded. Don't you agree, Jaffa? So having this solution is very important if we're tackling day-to-day transactions as a small business or even just a regular Filipino going to work. So maybe that's the importance for me, because everyone should have access to this anytime, anywhere, 24/7.
Prof, awesome. Yeah, I agree. And I do think that, with the advent of more e-wallets and more digital transactions, the speed of that exchange of value now going digital, it only gets faster and faster. So I think, the barriers to really exchanging money and sending crypto and money from person to person is only going to get faster and more smooth. No? So I think it's a very exciting time because we've seen a lot of adoption with establishments, right? Siguro it started maybe with the pandemic. I think that's really what catalyzed a lot of this digital renaissance with regards to
Totally agree.
fintech applications. And now we're heading into 2025, and having those, I guess, what you call financial rails, from crypto straight to Philippine pesos, straight to being able to buy your goods, access your services, is really so mind blowing to see, no, na dati meron kang cash, and then siguro you take time to look for yung barya mo, and then now it's just the exact value, and then you have a proof of transaction that's easily accessible as well. Like you can download your um, transaction history, so it also makes logging and accounting your own personal finances very easy, no, and you have a record of it digitally. So yeah, I guess super exciting to see how more we can integrate, the e-wallet side of apps like, the Coins app. So I guess with regards to, the use of the everyday transaction. So I guess what benefits do users gain when, both the crypto and the fiat transactions are integrated seamlessly into, one application?
Let's do this on what they call this, because Filipinos right now are asking how did they start using crypto or diving into crypto when there's that barrier how to start. Like, how do I put my crypto in my phone? Before, in 2020s, when you mentioned the pandemic, which was a catalyst, you have to have MetaMask, you have to have a certain digital crypto wallet, memorize the seed phrase, and from there there's a lot of other steps that you have to use just to get someone onboarded into Web3, specifically for crypto transactions. And right now, even before that, we had coins.ph, right? So having that ability to have crypto or your fiat money become crypto and use it anytime you want, transfer it to a different wallet, or cash in or cash it out with several options, just like what coins.ph does, is very much essential. When you say seamlessly, the benefits are endless, because right now payment options are very important. Even regular customers who just need payments for simple transactions, such as buying on online stores, sari-sari stores, they offer digital wallet solutions. Even payments for transportation. If it's going to be a QR code pass on other countries, like your cell phone, it has a card, the digital one, you just tap it there, or you have something similar to a digital wallet. If it's combined in one app that you can just cash it in, you don't need to go through the lines, because lines usually take so much time just to go through transportation, and transportation is so much already, what do you call this, congested here in Manila. So definitely that's one of the things. Having that very much seamless is one. Two, if you are a seller, you don't need to wait 5 7 days. You don't need T-1 hour or having another day or a week just to receive your money. If you're transferring not just here locally or receiving money from people from abroad, it's very much convenient that you receive your money within the span of minutes, hours, or even just 15 minutes less. specifically if it's in dollars or digital dollars, which we are currently using. Not to discredit the current system that we have when receiving remittances from OFWs and abroad, having these benefits that you receive your money almost real time with these kind of apps such as coins.ph helps the common Filipino be able to, maximize the time that they needed to do these transactions, whether it be for their business, for their schooling, or for the regular citizen that just needs to do their transactions and verify the payments. You mentioned a ledger or a transaction history. Every peso counts for everyone. When you pay on this one, if it's just on a centralized system or maybe on a digital ledger, you can just go back to your wallet's history. You know where everything is. You know how it is spent, where it was sent, when it was sent. It's all there. And definitely having access to something that's a two-in-one. You have a record of everything that you've bought. You don't need to write it down on a separate app. It's all there in one. You can verify it. You can check your balance. At least it makes things very much easier to transact on a day-to-day basis, knowing where your money goes, whether it's paying the bills, going to work, going home from work, going for your subscriptions like Netflix or whatnot, and maybe buying your favorite stuff while you're shopping. So online shopping is so much more efficient right now, and definitely if crypto is an option to pay for these things, specifically if you're using stable coins, and yeah, it's much more your money or crypto or your stable coin has more value, at least on a global scale. You don't really have to worry about volatility because it's USD is the current reserve currency of the world. So yeah, you could use that better, and you don't need to worry that your peso is going down or something similar to that. But it depends on what kind of users we are talking about in this one. Is there anything you want to add to this one, Jaffa?
Yeah, I mean, I I do agree that every peso counts, and when you're dealing with digital wallets, you're able to ensure that you're dealing with exact values. I think that's so like underrated because when you're able to have the exact values, sometimes there's mismanagement that can occur when you have like you give a bill, right, and then biglang nawawala yung barya mo. And I think personally,
Oh,
sayang yun na that's money that can be lost. But when you have it as a digital format, then it will always be there. And I guess to also add to like seamless transactions, I guess just to share, so I was very fortunate to go to um token 2049 in 2024, right? And I think this is what was mind blowing. When I was there, I used um an on-chain wallet to pay for orange juice with a stable coin for Singapore dollars. And then at the time I was like, wow, this is the dream, to be able to use my crypto to buy things in the real world. Fast forward to now, recently I was able to have some profits. And then I wanted to see, okay, how seamless can this get in the Philippine, setting? And I posted this on Twitter. So I used some of those profits, and then I was able to share those profits with my team members, treated them to coffee, used the app, and paid via QRPH. And in less than 10 seconds, you have your coffee, your transaction for that, like, finalized. And I think that was like a wow moment for me because, like the rail from the cryptocurrency to Philippine peso is so smooth. And you scan and then you can finally have your transaction finality. I think that's something that I hope every Filipino can get used to, because paying for something doesn't have to be painful. So I hope that as time goes on, more Filipinos, I think we're becoming a more technologically literate, technologically savvy country, and that's what really excites me, especially with the advent of AI. And we can touch on more of that later. And I guess we're also trying to teach people to responsibly use AI to better understand all of the digital information that they take in. So yeah, Prof, thank you so much. And I guess for our next talking point, so when you have an app that combines crypto and fiat, you also now have the topic of financial inclusion, right? So I think what's important also for a lot of Filipinos who have a phone and an access to an internet connection, no, I think there are also a lot of people who are unbanked, right? So what can apps like coins.ph do, for them? So what challenges do the unbanked or underbanked Filipinos face that apps like Coins can address?
Well, one of the top of mind is no maintaining balance, because that's one of the major stops aside from identification, ID verification, that you have to have two IDs to get the bank account, and a proof that you have an income and so forth. So having these access to apps like coins.ph, which is regulated by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, helps these people actually have access to financial benefits that they weren't able to, like storing their money digitally, and of course maybe earning some form of interest, whether it's via the PHPT, the stable coins, or other forms that are available right now with the app. Especially right now, Filipinos always want free promotions or free stuff, especially if you are really every peso counts, right? If it's 10% per annum, 5%, 4%, depending on what kind of coin or what kind of crypto or fiat money you're dealing with. Those small increments of, that adds to your bank account is something that most people, of course, value, specifically if these are students who are starting their financial journey, something to actually save for the future, especially for parents or even the people who are retiring, who want to have their retirement funds have ease of access with just a few clicks of your phone to actually send, receive, validate your money without going through the hassle of what you've mentioned earlier, is something that is really much important, especially for those who don't have bank accounts or they cannot really, go back and forth, visit their preferred banks every now and then with all the city traffic. So probably that's one of the few things top of mind. And one of the other things for me, I just want to go back, is when you're dealing with fiat, when you're not given the exact change, parang yung naloloko ko pa sa budol. Like those are benefits as well. Like when you get distracted, when you lose fiat, it's highly likely, especially if you have to count tons of cash. If it's all in digital, you would always just have to check the numbers and the transaction amounts, and you have validation to actually, cross validate it with the company. Like if it's coins.ph, have them check that you did something wrong. You could probably just send a report out for the support ticket or something similar if you mistakenly sent something, or maybe have it, I'm not sure. It depends on how the error was occurring or whatnot, or if it was a hack or some sort. But definitely, these things for the unbanked and underbanked Filipinos, education, of course, that these options are available now, and they don't just have to go to a certain bank. They can do this with the comfort of their cell phone with just an ID, have it verified, their account, and transact whatever they need to, from paying bills and sending money to people all over the Philippines, whoever has the COINS.ph app. I hope that answers the question, and I hope those in the audience as well will be asking more specifically to these, because I don't have much experience with people who are unbanked or underbanked, but I do know some of those experiences from friends and those in the province that I've gone to before. But yeah, maybe other perspectives are available. Back to you, Jaffa.
Yeah. Prof, you mentioned maintaining balance and lines. And I think it's easy to take for granted, especially if you're living in the city, the access, or the friction that is eliminated with more efficient processes in the city level or at the city level. And I guess the really empowering thing is that if you have a cell phone and an internet connection, then you have access to cryptocurrencies as well. And I think that that's the exciting part as well, is there's really a lot less barrier to access, a lot less barrier to participation now that you have this renaissance of digital wallets, especially when you have access to cryptocurrencies, where I think you also, if you can teach them properly, access to investing opportunities as well. But I think we also have to start with the basics. And before you go into crypto and investing in crypto, I think part of the coins.ph kind of mission is, setting up their financial foundations as well, because that's just as important, because you don't want to be putting in money that you cannot afford to lose. So I hope that, as time goes on, we can really reach more people with that message na you have a place to put your money. It's easy to cash in. And it's also, down the line, if you want to start growing a bit more of your portfolio, then you can talk to people like Prof, people like me, and we love guiding people through this process because I think we want, to have a Filipino population that's, rich not just in portfolio, but also in, human capital and knowledge. So, yeah, I guess that's the vision there, and it's exciting to be able to see that down the line with all of this new information coming in. So when now that we touched a bit more on the unbanked Filipinos, I guess how about what impact can this have, this integration of crypto and fiat on providing financial services to underserved communities. So I guess just to add on to the previous question as well.
Yeah. With the question you mentioned about the crypto and fiat integration and its impact on the underserved community. So when you say impact, it means the change of their lifestyle or probably how they have a different view of how the world works right now. Because maybe in the 90s, the traditional financial system is working how they are using it right now. But being educated to know, okay, what is a scam? What is a new form of payment, a new form of digital money? So those things are probably new avenues for them to explore. Like what you mentioned, education is very much important. So this impacts them, their options to to choose in their financial journey. Because right now, financial education or literacy is still a challenge here in the Philippines, and definitely having them become aware. And the next thing about being aware is having the educational knowledge to know how to use it properly. Because with every technology that comes anew, you always have to start with the basic building blocks or the steps on how to use it. And this impacts learning curves, and definitely it would help these underserved communities to do things much faster, specifically if it used to take months for them to receive certain amount of support, whether it be digital finance or receiving transactions or support. It's now become much faster, and definitely with access to internet, it makes them very much useful in terms of learning about these new avenues for technology. Because right now, not every place in the Philippines has internet, but definitely it's a work in progress. So having these options that they are aware of, okay, yeah, and mainstream media talking about it in positive light at least helps them understand that the old ways are still present and there are new ways to go about these financial services. So having these underserved communities become aware and at the same time know that there's a responsibility involved when it entails your personal finance. And yeah, we've still got a long way to go, but definitely having one app that integrates both, such as coins.ph, is something very much essential to how education and practicality of these things happen. And yes, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas regulating these apps is a much more efficient way of saying this is a valid thing to do. And yes, you are protected by the government.
Awesome.
All right, back to
Yeah.
you, Jaffa.
Yeah, Prof, thank you so much. No? And I guess on that topic for the past two questions, financial inclusion. So we talked about the underserved, the underbanked. And it's so important to highlight as well that you're correct. Not a lot of places have an internet connection. It's a work in progress. But hopefully as there are more like internet providers that can cater to these far-flung areas, technology like the app is a bridge for people to participate in the wider economy, because I'm sure that once everyone is on the same financial rail, then they become, as mentioned in the question, more integrated as well to that entire economy. So I think that's something that's really exciting for that sector of the population. So I guess with that, um, so we talked about people who are in at the peripheries. But I think what's really exciting is our the opportunities that it opens up for people that are already a part of like the digital economy, which is something that we talk a lot about here on the stream. And the crypto and Web3 it's a very digital heavy, I guess, industry. So with that, for the next question, I guess we'd also like to talk more about, expanding opportunities, with this crypto and fiat integration. So with that, I'd like to ask you, Prof. So what opportunities do you see for, this crypto fiat integration? Like, what opportunities does it open up for, freelancers, SMEs, small businesses, and of course OFWs, as you mentioned, for remittances?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Jaffa. For those watching right now, we've been talking about transactions. And the first in history, the reason why crypto was made was, of course, making transactions seamless, cross border, meaning OFW remittances was the first and top of mind for this, making it seamless, verifiable, and secure. So, opportunities here, it depends on how they're using the money from crypto to fiat and vice versa. So, if you are here in the Philippines and you prefer to use fiat, which is mostly the case depending on location, having an ease of access to actually pay for these things when you receive digital money and pay for it in real time makes it, it also ensures the horror stories of OFWs, knowing that their hard-earned money is spent on the wrong things. At least there's verifiable means for you to actually, check it on chain, on the blockchain for Web3, for freelancers receiving their payments from their contractors or from their employers, whether they're from abroad or from foreign clients, multiple foreign clients at that for some, and for small businesses as well. Having a seamless ledger of transactions. Definitely, these are still things in the work and opportunities open depending on, of course, what type of engagement they are doing with customers, what type of engagement they are doing with the businesses or the supply chain, how these businesses accept crypto as a form of payment, and definitely how well it's being, the technology at the back end is done for the accounting, etc. Because not every business is equipped to actually be ready right now. But the opportunities to upscale to actually prevent manual and human error, or or definitely not manual, just human error in general, for accounting departments that has been overlooked, financial statements that have been wrong. It's easily verifiable with the blockchain, and having crypto or a digital ledger easily verifies where these money are sent, received, and at the same time, if they're being foolproof, secure, nobody gets a cut somewhere down the line and is being sent to where it's going to be sent with the right amount, with full transparency and security. Because definitely nobody wants to lose part of the money along the way if it's done with integrity. I think that's one of the major things, because sometimes um, it's one of the known challenges, but not be yet talked about publicly about those things. But yeah, definitely ease of access for the money, for businesses, definitely the transparency where their fees go and ease of accounting. And for OFWs, of course, helps them, of course, manage their money, their finance, and helps their relatives to actually use it as soon as possible. No need for the longer wait times. Hope that answers the question, Jaffa.
Yeah. I guess to highlight something you said, it was really about, like, for example, the human or the manual errors that there, let's say, an accounting department can encounter. And I think one of the best things that the blockchain can do for you is that you have data that's, there. And, when you have the ease of handling big amounts of data, then you can scale, then you can really reach a lot more people and impact more people. So I think that that access to data, and if you're really good at, for example, a really good developer who can help make data information, I guess, more readable and accessible to people, then I think that will really also open up even more opportunities. Because I think maybe you can also agree, Prof, no, that um, those on-chain explorers may be a bit hard to read. But then as time goes on and there are more and more crypto transactions, we will have an interface and explorer that makes reading data, understanding blockchain data, and analyzing data a lot more easy to digest. And with AI also coming into the picture, I think that's one of the most exciting things, is that now you can have tools that make data visualization, data storytelling more easy for teams, for businesses. And I'm excited to see how that will play out for yung mga freelancers natin, yung mga SMEs natin, yung mga OFWs natin. There's so much new things, and we are becoming a more technologically literate country. So that really excites me because um, crypto really opens up the doors for a lot of Filipinos, and that's really what excites me about that. So yeah, Prof, thank you for your answer there. So our last set question before I get to that, let me just plug to our community. Please do send your questions via FB Live or X, and then we will be choosing some questions for Prof to answer. After the last set question, and yeah, before that, let's have our last set question for Prof. And I guess, so what role does that crypto fiat integration play, in enabling Filipinos to compete and thrive in global financial systems? So, I guess we touched on that idea a bit more, but to close out that section, expanding opportunities, and how does crypto and fiat integration, enable the Filipinos to really show and shine their talents dun sa global landscape natin?
All right. Yeah. This is the most important thing for Filipinos: career progression, being globally competitive. Because right now, we are globally present. Filipinos are everywhere in the world. But the equipped knowledge is not yet there to be globally competitive when it comes to tech and everything else. But starting it off here, where we were born here in the Philippines, having the knowledge to actually be competitive and thrive in what is normal in other countries, especially the first world countries, having these experiences easily accessible here in the Philippines help them imagine a better future. And definitely, of course, if these are business minded Filipinos, they could probably start something new. And aside from offering businesses, businesses offer jobs. We're not limited to what is just possible with businesses and jobs. It also competes like a global scale of operations, because from what I've been seeing, not just locally, students yet to graduate in college have already built global empires earn with transactions flowing up to billions of dollars per day. And these are all possible in the blockchain or in Web3. So just having that as an example, any Filipino, we know we are world class. It's just a matter of time, matter of effort, of course, and proper educational background. And there's no course in Web3 for now. It's, mind you, it's all an effort to take that initiative to learn, to listen to the news, go to events, and having that knowledge to have that global financial systems are changing. It's a revolutionary change, or maybe it's just a fad, maybe for some, but studying further about it makes you interested that these are possibilities to have new careers for Filipinos, to unlock new ideas. You mentioned about AI, you mentioned about the blockchain. These are new technologies that are being developed and not yet fully matured. So this just means opportunity. There's just that so much window of opportunity for Filipinos to explore, and the crypto and fiat integration is just the first part. So yeah, hopefully we all see these Filipinos shining, not just locally, but definitely on a global scale, that they've built, great businesses, not just projects, small scale projects, just to say that we built a Web3 project. And we're looking forward to these things that's gonna come out hopefully soon, and definitely be seeing more of these reputable Filipinos doing the best in the global stage. But yeah, go back to you, Jaffa.
Yeah, thanks so much, Prof. No? Yeah, I think that's super exciting. And you mentioned that you see some younger people who they have access to the blockchain, and then they build these really big businesses. And I think that really brings out the fire, and parang I want to be able to do that, right? And I hope we can inspire other people to do that, because when you open up the door to participate in a global financial system, it does unlock so many opportunities. And I think you also did mention, for example, the point about, yeah, like for example, the initiative to learn. And I think a lot of Filipinos, um or a lot of people, especially young Filipinos, they have access to like a YouTube account, or a streamer, an educational streamer. And a lot of these guys you mentioned aren't mature, they're not yet taught in schools. So their internet connection and their cell phone or their mobile device empowers them to be able to look for reputable sources of information to learn and better themselves. So I guess it's super exciting to see how will that technological literacy, I guess, bridge kind of grow as time goes on. Because when you have an app, and a community through coins.ph, to really help educate and make your community richer in both capital for the mind and capital for the portfolio, I think that's the inspiring and the exciting, fulfilling thing that comes with having live streams like this. So thank you to all of the viewers as well who are watching. And yeah, I guess we can move on, Prof, to some of our community questions. So I will be choosing some questions from our Facebook Live, and don't worry, guys. If you guys haven't sent your questions, do keep sending them. I'm scanning the comment section, for your questions for Prof Toff. So I like this first um question, siguro, from Squidut Thought. And they ask, so I guess, Prof, use, for example, what educational resources, you as an educator, should a crypto fiat app include to increase, crypto literacy among Filipinos?
I would say this is hard right now because the crypto landscape is changing like every day. But definitely, top of mind for me is globing at global websites. Um, Depending on what you want to know. When you say crypto literacy, is it about the technology or the basics of actually working with the technology? Because YouTube is definitely easier to just learn about how to use this app or the specific websites pertaining to these apps. If it's a wallet, you go to the wallet's website or just go to a YouTube and just search for this wallet. If it's fairly new, definitely you have to go to their website. But definitely, I would say not most Filipinos are readers, so it's a really tough nut to crack that you have to read a lot. So educational resources, if for me, when I was starting, was Bitsquela. They had their great YouTube videos that's very instructional on defining the terms about cryptocurrency. Another would be going to YouTube for installing wallet apps. During the time of 2020 pandemic, there were a lot of content creators about the game called Axie Infinity. So those are the stepping points. If you have transactions in crypto and you're engaging a specific app, whether you are in coins.ph or other apps, I think probably the best integrations are just terms or guide and how to's on how to use these apps. And last would be just going to events first, because right now I would say there's an influx of a lot of information, and I think you can validate them by going to events. So for me, your social media is there. You just have to know what you're searching for. And thank you for this question, Squid. You thought it's quite hard to pinpoint one, honestly, because a lot of things might change in the span of a year, span of 6 months. But the facts of what the blockchain, what the specific network like Ethereum, the top 10 coins there, it's all out there. The white papers and what it's for is already out there. So you just have to read more about it. If ever, I think one of the major things you have to learn for is about the foreign finance involving the US and history of money. Probably start there. I mean, learning about crypto is about learning the history of money and how money flows. So, yeah, to just summarize, go search in YouTube what you wanted to know. I mentioned a few. And yeah, Coin Market Cap, CoinGecko is probably the best right now, or Bitpinas is a few of the local Facebook websites that share the news, at least for me. But yeah, I hope that answers the question. It's a tough one. Thank you. Go back to you, Jaffa.
Thanks, Prof. Thanks, Squidu. Yeah, I guess I'd like to add two things to that. So first, I would like to plug, since you did mention events. So we actually do have a Coins event on Thursday, and I'll share that, the Luma link to that, here in the
See.
comment section. So I think, especially if you are into Web3 gaming, we will have a panel discussion during the Thursday event on January 30th here at the Coins HQ. And I think it's a great way to meet a community of people who also want to, get better at managing crypto, at managing personal finance. So I think it'd be great to I'd also like to meet the COINMUNITY there. So I'll be hosting that event as well. So I hope to see a lot of you guys, a lot of our viewers at the Coins HQ on the 30th. And the second thing, I guess, is a little hack that I guess something like Chat GPT can really open up for people. I think that I'm fortunate to have read a lot of books, but books are expensive. I think you can, ask the AI for what are some of the key points that, for example, a popular personal finance or personal development book um, teaches, and then you can probably get the key points there and try to ponder upon those. So maybe with AI tools like that, really opens up a lot of the literacy doors for Filipinos. No, so I think that's a little hack that you can do, no, in order
But
to
yeah, that is
access
true.
better information. Yeah.
Stupid
So
hacks, indeed.
yeah. Squidu, thank you for that question. I think that's a very good question to ask, and I hope a lot of our viewers also got some good ideas from that. No, all right. So I think this is another good question from FB Live from Mark Jason Malikdem. So they ask, I guess, what are the risks of not having crypto fiat integration in financial apps? I think a good way to think about the question as well is what are the risks of not, participating in like a digital economy or a digital wallet, right? Because there are risks for sure where if you stick with legacy systems, um, I think there are some maybe blockers or barriers to old systems that will really hamper your ability to pay for things, to participate in a more structured, more digitalized system of applications, and all of the other things that are now digitalized. So what are the risks of not being I guess digitally or technologically integrated?
For my answering the same question as well, right, Jaffa? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Just to add to what you said, it's not about the risk of not having it because it's just moving forward. You will have it not now, probably eventually, because right now other developed countries are using it. So it's probably just a matter of time. So not having it or not using it rather is just delaying the inevitable for me. And at the same time, you just close the options that you have. Yes, there are people who are just loyal to certain forms of payment or certain apps. Then again, you just have to know that change is the only thing constant in the world. And if you really did not learn, I'm setting an example like we now watch at Netflix. Before there was different avenues to watch movies, CDs, DVDs, or even Betamax. For those who know what Betamax is, the food Betamax. But yeah, it was based from that. But definitely knowing that these forms are happening and change is really the future. You just have to know a little more about it. Even credit cards weren't accepted before. Even social media wasn't really something that's well accepted in the beginning. So you're just delaying something and gonna have a tougher time adjusting to what is normally accepted on the global stage. But yeah, it depends on you. It's preference still. And I don't see any risks at not doing that. It's just more of you not opening doors for yourself.
Awesome. Mark Jason, thank you so much for that question. And I hope, yeah, as you mentioned, these things like social media and credit cards weren't popular before, but it's one of those technologies that's it's not if, it's when. So I think everyone will eventually have an app that will, have them be a participant in that global digital economy. So I think the goal nga moving forward is to onboard those people and to guide them, teach them, so that they do not just throw money into things that look good, but they also practice good money practices when they start expanding their I guess actions or options in that financial array of instruments. And I guess the next question to tie into that is from Jasper Jules. So this is a very good question for beginners. So how can Filipinos safely invest in cryptocurrency, and what are the best practices for doing so, especially if you're starting out?
Hmm. The first thing I would say is get to know what you're going into. If you're buying your first crypto, set your expectations right. What that crypto is. Like you're buying your first stable coin. It's not gonna go up or down as much as other types of coins, but relatively just to hold a stable value. And for you to actually safely invest, and the best practices is learning how to securely keep these digital assets. Because for me, if you are using a like example, you use a cell phone, but you don't know how to lock it with the password, it kind of defeats the purpose of you having a secure cell phone right now. So having the Face ID or a PIN is also basic practice when using your digital wallets, because this is your vault, literal na caja de hierro in Tagalog, as they would call it. This is your own money vault. This is where you keep your money. So if money is important to you, it's imperative, or it's very important for you to learn how to keep it secure, how to know what are the vulnerabilities, perhaps. Like if you don't do these XYZ activities, like clicking on random links, giving out your seed phrase, or having several people log in at your account, giving them your password, ask anyone randomly asking for the password, may it be someone pertaining to be like us, the personalities, or even a fake Facebook page. These are the smallest things that matter. And also, this is one of the things that I've always heard in horror stories, I guess, in crypto. When people ask you for money for guaranteed gains, the best practice is don't engage. Sure gains are usually your door to sure loss as well. Because in crypto, it's a decentralized platform where you you as the user take ownership. So you have to learn how to be accountable and financially responsible for your money. So that's the first and probably the safest way, because you don't invest your money in anyone else. You hold your money. If ever you want to put it in someone else's account, like example, coins.ph is regulated by BSP. Yes, you put your money there. Yes, it's regulated. They won't run from you. Your money is there. And if there are products such as the earn products that earn interest of some kind, like the typical banks, or short-term promotions that increase the amount of when you put in and invest, these are the first steps: knowing what you to expect and how much you want in return. And also, if we're not going to touch on trading, because that's not the safest way for you to start, but it's just more of exchanging your money to different types of currencies for now, like from US to peso and to other cryptocurrencies that you want. So start with stable coins, safely secure, and learn how to handle stuff in crypto, and never give out anything that's personally to you for anyone to access, specifically your funds. If you're gonna have to access those funds, you have to make sure that it's really secure. And learning what secure means in crypto is very essential. Maybe you have some ideas too, Jaffa, because everyone has their own different experience.
Yeah. I think one of the messages I start preaching to the community a lot more is one of the best practices if you're starting to invest in crypto is just stick to Bitcoin. Uh, Keep it simple, just stick to Bitcoin. The data will show that any composition of portfolios, chances are if you just hold Bitcoin, you will outperform most portfolios that will even hold Ethereum or Solana. So for me, that's a bit of a mind blowing kind of data driven result. But I think if you're really going to start in crypto, first and foremost, understand, as Prof said earlier, what is Bitcoin, and you have to study the history of money and the idea of it. Very complex topics, but I think having a good community will guide you through those high level discussions. But to keep
Yes.
it simple, keep it concise. If you want to start investing, I think two things: just learn about Bitcoin, and second, if you're going to put money in it, always define the number at that you're comfortable losing. Uh, Oh no, I think there you go. Got it. Got it. We're back. We're back. But yeah, just to wrap that up, I guess learn about Bitcoin and just tap your community members' brains in order to find out what the best practices are to start your crypto journey. So I guess thank you, Jasper Jules. And Jasper Jules, in order to claim your prize, do open a ticket on the Coins Discord, and then please just ask any Coins champion there how to submit your prize, and they will guide you through the process of making sure that we get your details so that we can reward you for that wonderful question. So Jasper Jules, thank you. I guess you mentioned stable coins also, Prof. So I did choose a question from um one of our community members as well. And to build on that, so stable coins are often seen as a bridge between crypto and fiat. So what are their advantages and how can they be more accessible to the average person?
Hmm. Let, Before I answer this question, let me just go back to what you mentioned. I want to add to the Bitcoin answer that you
Yeah, sure,
had,
sure.
Jaffa. It's the top performing asset of the decade.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying go buy Bitcoin. I'm just saying do your research about it. So going to the stable coin route, it depends on your risk profile. What's a risk profile? What or appetite? Are you really, aggressive? Are you reserved in terms of, because when you go stable coins, yeah, it's the bridge because it's where money is being held at a stable value. And the advantages of this, you don't worry about the volatility of crypto, which is what most people are afraid of, especially the older people or the elderly. Because when they put money in crypto and it crashes down, it's a scam already. It's volatile. That's why there are only certain types of cryptocurrencies that hold a certain amount of value, and stable coins are the best way somehow. But of course, you have to do your research because certain stable coins in the past weren't able to perform well. So I'm not gonna mention those, but probably do some research on Luna. It was one of the biggest crashes, and I think you need to know why it wasn't a good example of a stable coin. So as a bridge, it should have that much of a background why it's asset backed, meaning it's not just digital asset. It's something that is making sure it stays at that point, or if it goes down a little bit, it could go back up and maintain that value. Advantages, it's almost everywhere. Local, global, wherever you want to access it. Even coins.ph has the stable coins. And yeah, we are actually having PHP stable coin already.
HPC.
And there are ways to earn PHPC. And how can they be accessible to the average person? Download coins.ph. I mean, that's one way. I mean, get the apps that that have access to these, or the wallets, because the wallets can be also a way for it to be accessible to these type of stable coins. They all accept several forms of payment, so you just have to check and study those. Coins.ph is the most accessible. You can deposit using banks, you can deposit it wallet to wallet, or you can just receive your money in your coins wallet ID or through the blockchain. You just have to send your address. That's how the blockchain works. Literally, just send a wallet address, you receive it. Just have to know which chain. When we say which chain, it's just like when you do your text messages, Smart, Globe, or whatever it is, you just have to know it's between those same chains. You cannot jump from one chain to another. That's another topic, but yeah, definitely to be accessible there, you have to know how these assets are being transferred across these different platforms. And yes, go do download coins.ph. Maybe you have some download link or something for the community or the community, Jaffa. Yeah, yeah, that answers the question. Anything you want to add, Jaffa, as well?
Yeah, I mean, you did mention, and maybe I can drop the download link in the comment section later. But you did mention Luna, right? So maybe some history for people who were around last cycle. There was a stable coin called US Terra. I won't get into the nitty gritty of how that worked, but I think the learning that we can take from it is that I think we are back. I am so sorry about that technical difficulty. I think I was rug pulled by my internet for a few seconds or minute there. But yeah, I mean,
All good, sir.
oh, good. Yeah, I guess to get back to the point I was making earlier, if you're going to involve yourself in crypto, DYOR, do your own research. Always understand the things you're putting your money into. So, oh my God, there you go. All right. So yeah, I think we're good there. And yeah, I guess Prof, what we can do is to start wrapping up our stream since we are coming up on the mark of the hour. So Justin, Carl, Esquadron Nunez, thank you so much for that question. And yeah, I guess it's important to really know, as with anything, saan mo nilalagay ang pera mo? Dapat uh, matuto ka, you should learn where you're putting your money into, your hard-earned money into. And as Prof mentioned earlier, every peso counts. Do not ever take it for granted. I think the crypto space has a knack for sometimes desensitizing us to money because of all the wild gains that you can see. So I think we have to come back down to earth and really understand that money is so valuable, and the mission of streams like this is to really spread that financial education, and to really be a bridge between learning more about crypto, about money, and improving the Filipinos money practices. So I guess that concludes our community question segment. So if your question was chosen, please do open a ticket on our Discord server, and we will get to you. Our coins champions will assist you with the prize process for that. I guess let me just hide the banners here. So, Prof, I guess, to wrap up the stream, maybe I'd like to leave you with my own personal question, and then you can follow this up with some personal thank you message for the community. So, I guess, Prof, what are you excited for this 2025? I think I'd like to, ask you to share with the community, what is it you're most excited for, with the remainder of this exciting time in the market?
Well, yeah, let's start that off in the bull run. The bull run is still present, and we don't know how long it will last. What excites me the most is how high can Bitcoin go, and how much profits are the Filipinos gonna be taking in for this bull run, because bull runs don't last forever. So I would highly suggest stack up on stables maybe, and enjoy the bear market when you're gonna do your shopping, because it might happen soon or just in a few more months. But yeah, it excites me that when we take in the profits for 2025 for this bull run, you're gonna enjoy shopping when everything is at the discount. So yeah, let's go grow our portfolios.
All right. Thank you so much, Prof. And yeah, just to add to that, I do like to teach my community as well. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. We never know how high it will run, how long it will last. So I think it's important to, be prudent when taking profits. No one ever went broke taking profits. I think that's a good thing to keep in mind as well. So I guess with that, I'd like to plug one last thing to our community members. So we do have community channels for coins, and we would love to see you over first our Discord, which is in the comment section. So join us over at discord.gg/coins.ph. I'll flash the link as well here on screen, where we will be having a community game after the stream. And I'll be doing a little Bitcoin outlook for our I guess newbies as well. So should they be worried about the markets and those kinds of things? So if you're interested in that, do head to our Discord. And secondly, we also do have a Telegram channel, a Telegram group chat. So I will share the link as well here in our comment section. Um, there we go. I think it sends there. So that's the link to our Discord. And this is the link to Coins Filipino, which is our Telegram channel. So if you're into trading and learning more about the markets, I think our Telegram channel is, the perfect destination for you. We love talking more about personal finance and our outlooks on the market there. So I hope that you can also join us over on the Coins Filipino Telegram channel. So, Prof, thank you so much. I love the discussion. I love this topic so much. And I hope our community members for tonight, they learned something new about personal finance, about why having that crypto fiat integration in a fintech app is so important. And this year we're really ramping up. How can we educate more Filipinos on why having that crypto fiat integration is so important? In accessing the global economy, the digital economy. So, Prof, community, thank you so much for watching our stream tonight, and I guess we will catch you again for our next Coinmunity Wednesdays next week, where we'll be having another crypto project actually on our stream for next week. So with that, I'd like to thank you all again for watching. It's been a pleasure. I'm JC Cadiz, or Jaffa, the community manager for Coins, and it's been Prof Toff. Thank you so much for supporting the stream and catching us live. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye.